All right, Jolt Radio live from Miami, FLA, in Allapattah. We have a nice little welcome treat here. David Strickland is here, and we're going to talk to him for a little bit. Thanks to Mac for bringing him in. And first, we're going to check out one of his tracks. It's called Turtle Island. We'll listen to that for a little bit, and then we'll get to talking a little bit about it.
You guys heard this before?
Lord, whoa, Lord.
Turtle Island to the world.
Hey!
See him trapped inside a dead man's paradise. Streets full of parasites. Criminal and thieves, killers feed off the savage night. Poverty and greed got us deceived by the lavish life. Cops don't give a fuck about a nigga's life. This ain't nothing but a psychopath's wonderland. Deals done underhand. Shit's so cold, they sell they sold for 100 grand. Corruption is a new obsession. We wrap up blessings in a rubber band. The oppressions of the son and man. Cascades of misery and violence. The casualties of war are held silence. The tribe of Gad moves defiant. Another chapter in the Sons of Zion. A gangster's lullaby filled with gunshots and sirens. We on the last stage of apocalypse. Pipe bombs and hostages. Pussy whipped by goddesses. Blind to what a prophet is. The only peace we ever knew comes with a hollow tip. Spade your highness tells you what the gossip is. Eat the fruit.
Bible at the front door. They keep aiming at our minds, oh. Wise up, you better stay woke and keep up with the times, yo. Cause they keep on killing our whole vibe. They're killing our whole vibe. They're killing our whole vibe. Babylon keep on killing our whole vibe.
Waving the fofo po they loco, as if you don't know. So cold, out to get ya. The feds all are Nazis, but you don't get the picture like some dead paparazzi. This prophecy ain't no stopping me, never cop a plea. So we spitting bars, we're hitting hard as the policy. Who the top MC? Hip hop, the hypocrisy. I properly handle my business, dismantle the mockeries. Get off of me, trying to control my animosity. They took the property like it was a game of Monopoly. Grand larcenies, atrocities, no apologies. They pray to win the lottery. I pray against poverty, it bothers me. Check the economy on the RAZ. So we use our sovereignty, all your blood in the arteries. I bomb atomically. Socrates' philosophies and hypotheses. Can't define how I'll be dropping these.
Bible at the front door. They keep aiming at our minds, oh. Wise up, you better stay woke and keep up with the times, yo. Cause they keep on killing our whole vibe. They're killing our whole vibe. They're killing our whole vibe. Babylon keep on killing our whole vibe.
I can feel the streets bubbling, the people's tempers boiling. Sick from the bloodline of these so-called royal men. They only loyal to the soil that they spoiling. We trapped in the barbed wire, slowly uncoiling. These men drilling and killing, no feelings, feeling hate. Every treaty's been broken, this a military state. Deep in the concrete, you can feel the city breathing. Your breath getting heavy cause the tension's got you reaching. You're seeing what I'm seeing or you believing what they tell you. I'm only speaking truth about the lies that they sell you. They got you on a cell like you trapped in a cell. Gotta break out the spell to make it out of this hell. Ain't nothing new in the block, getting shot by the cops. When the streets get hot, another body goes drop. Now time don't stop for no man, so keep it pushing. And lift up your people, the serpent got you choosing.
Bible at the front door. They keep aiming at our minds, oh. Wise up, you better stay woke and keep up with the times, yo. Cause they keep on killing our whole vibe. They're killing our whole vibe. They're killing our whole vibe. Babylon keep on killing our whole vibe. Forward
All right, and we're back. We are here with producer David Strickland, who is in Miami and thankfully came to the Jolt Radio. And we have a nice little round table to talk about his work and what he's been up to. Why don't you guys go around and tell me a little bit about, well, who you guys are, and go for it.
Jolt Radio. My name is Charles Lewis. I manage David Gordo Strickland, the one in original Gordo, Toronto, Canada base. And we're here to do his first official Art Basel show that went off really well at the Cleveland Hotel on famous South Beach. And, we're just here to do a little introduction, and I'm going to say that, and I'll come back around as we go around the table.
Giantamo. My name is Erica Dietz. I'm Seminole Tribe of Florida. I'm also Winnebago from Nebraska, Ojibwe from White Earth, and I'm a board member on the Boys and Girls Club. Glad to be here.
John Thundercloud, proud member of the Ho-Chunk Nation of Wisconsin. Friend of Mac Boogaloo invited me down to come check it out and asked Erica and I to sit in and ask a few questions.
Yeah, Big Mac over there got me down here. What's up, y'all? David Strickland, Mi'kmaq from Halibu Mi'kmaq First Nations out in Newfoundland and Labrador. Our roots go back to Nova Scotia, and a lot of families over there in Bedford. Originally, we're from Sydney. That's a whole other conversation, but happy to be in Miami now. We got here about a week and a half ago. We were setting up for Art Basel, as Charles said. My first show was at the Clevelander, where I painted a mural for the 50th anniversary of hip-hop. And what I did was I picked 6 hip-hop icons from Miami. So it was Uncle Luke, DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, Pitbull, Trina, and Trick Daddy. So if you're in Miami and you get to South Beach, stop by the Clevelander, check out the mural, take a picture, and tag us. I'm sure you're going to love it. And, yeah, I'm just happy to be in the city, and we've been taking it in.
So, yeah, man, you just had an album coming out?
I got a new album coming out next year. It's called Foundation. It's instrumentals, my first instrumental album. So the last record was Spirit of Hip Hop Elements. First album was Spirit of Hip Hop. Elements dropped, I believe, last year in August. I want to say August. And this, I haven't set a date for the new album, but the new album is kind of like me by myself with nobody. No vocalist, just me. So I've never done anything like that, just like the painting.
You know what? There's something about we talk. So a lot of DJs come through here, right, through Jolt and stuff like that, and we talk a lot about like once you love a song a lot and you've kind of played it a lot of times, then you're like, is there a dub on the other side of this record? Right. And then you want that. Right. So like to hear that you're like, oh wait, let me just put out these things as just me instrumental. Yeah. Is that what like you?
That's it. It's like I'm standing on my own.
Yeah.
Fine. After I've been doing music since I was about 17, maybe 16. It's a long time to finally go, you know what? I think I'm ready.
Yeah, the other thing is that obviously for audiences and stuff like that, you're working with artists and stuff when you on previous things, and they are using your talents to push out what they're doing.
Right.
And with instrumentals, it's harder to get it out there, I suppose. But
well,
man,
I am signed to Monarch Music, so I had had this idea. The label helps, and the idea was that I've been doing music so long, but I've never actually done anything by myself. That's what the first album was, even though there was MCs and singers. But I noticed that it was like a lot. I don't want to say less work, but not having to touch vocals made a huge difference in my vibe, made a huge difference in my life. And I kind of liked it. And I want to do it again, but I want to do it in a different way. Album's called Foundation. I'm probably going to drop it on my birthday.
Oh, that's cool.
That's what I'm thinking. May 27th. 2024. That's my birthday. I'll be 51. So
you don't look it.
Thank you. It'll be perfect, perfect. Because see, with the spirit of hip hop, I dropped a song of my dad. I think it was Turtle Island. I dropped on my father's birthday, and my father's a pre-Confederate and Mi'kmaq person, so that was really meaningful to me. Then the next song I dropped on my daughter Brooklyn's birthday, which was in February, and then I just kept going with that birthday vibe. And then I dropped Feathers. I think was on my birthday. So, and then I went to the album came out during the pandemic on Indigenous Peoples Day in Canada. So late, I believe it's June 21st, and right in the middle of when everybody was in lockdown. So what was really interesting about the album, like what I got out of a lot of the interviews I was on, that when they listened to the album in the middle of that pandemic where everybody was locked down, if you listen to that album, it was almost foretelling the pandemic. It was like, everything we talked about was happening. Black Lives Matter. We had my friend's wife is the hereditary chief of Wet'suwet'en's daughter. So we had shut down the country just before that. So there was a lot of that stuff on the album. So it kind of freaked people out a bit. But I think that was kind of part and parcel to who I am. In some of our gifts and seeing ahead, and maybe a lot of those songs came. I mean, a lot of the thing about me, what people I usually don't talk about this is a lot of the songs come from ceremony, and a lot of my songs go into ceremony before they come out, right? And it's important. Everything I do is about protection. I protect the music. I protect the spirit. I protect where it comes from to protect myself. In essence, everything is like when we were painting the mural, and somebody said to me, "Oh, you're so great," and all this stuff. And I said, "No, I'm not painting. It's creator. It's just going through me," right? So that was profound. They got it. But it's the same thing. The music, it's like, just goes through me. And I've been told that a long time. So I don't really try to claim things. It's going to be here when I'm gone, right? So there's something to that, I believe.
Oh man,
I don't know if that was deep or not.
No, it's just a lot of times artists don't, and not to any fault or anything, that they don't know exactly where to explain why the whys or the what, and it's fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you seem to have a very solid idea of the why and where it's coming from.
Well, that took a lot of time to understand, and that took one of the lessons I've been learning is patience. Right, and being patient is hard for me.
Tell me about it.
Is it?
Charles will tell you. And I've been on a long journey because I felt like my story where I grew up in the city, we were disconnected. My father was assimilated pretty good, right? And I didn't understand things, and hip hop brought me back into that space, and then that put me right back into where I was, traveling the Red Road and learning our traditions and learning to the point where, I'm almost at the point where I'm ready to I can conduct a lodge. And that's a lot of work I earned from doing work and just learning and getting those things that I need, those tools I need to do that. Now, that's something I never planned and never expected, that's a big responsibility. So stuff like that kind of reinforces things to me along the way. So when I do certain things, I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe this is what I'm supposed to do. So I kind of got to look at the signs, And by the way, I lost my voice, so I may sound a little messed up today, but it's every day I've woken up, I can't talk, so I'm just happy to be able to talk.
Yeah, I already told you, but for radio, it sounds fantastic right now.
It's actually deeper.
Yeah, exactly.
In real,
it sounds
normally.
it comes with this is a good sound.
So yeah, as a native Indigenous First Nations person, performer, artist, the youth are going a lot more with the urban or hip hop type stuff, and also, how would you kind of relate that to what you were talking about, growing up in the city,
right?
And then, but still relating to the youth about the connectedness and where they come from, who they are, where they should be going.
Right. So I want to break it down to you like this. It was really Brother Ernie Panicoli. If you don't know who Brother Ernie Panicoli is, go look him up. He was Cree, grew up in Brooklyn and then he, came up with, around hip hop with Bambaataa and those guys in the Bronx and started photographing everything, graffiti, photos. He's got a book out right now called Hip Hop at the End of the World, and it's staggering. It'll blow your mind. And I got a sweater on, but I have a tattoo here, which is the medicine wheel with the 4 elements of hip hop on it. And Brother Ernie brought that into my life when I met him, and he showed us that, our culture is the same as hip hop. And there's indigenous people. Everybody's indigenous. So when you say hip hop, I mean, we know the story where they were rapping before Herc came from Jamaica. So we know the story how Herc came from Jamaica and brought the turntables and, and scratch and all these things that came into play. But, these people are of African descent, which is indigenous to Africa. We're indigenous to Turtle Island. Everybody's indigenous to somewhere. So basically what Brother Ernie was saying, which relates to your question, is that, the DJ is the drummer, the MC is the storyteller, the B-boy is the dancer, and the graffiti artist is the petroglyph writer or the sand painter. And basically what we've been doing is we have a disconnect in some of our communities where, like I was on a res in Ontario where there was a lot of suicides, and a lot of the kids are listening to hip-hop, and they're not practicing their culture. And that's what the bridge the gap for me when I started learning was that, oh, wait, he's right. It's so similar. That's why Turtle Island, what we just heard, was a combination of hip-hop, dancehall, and powwow step. I wanted to do that kind of record just to bring it together to show you it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. So what I did essentially after the first album came out, was we designed a space with Apple Music, and it's called Indigenous Sounds, because I would go on there and I couldn't find us. And so now we have our own room, and there's every genre. There's country. I did an Indigenous hip-hop playlist. There's a current called Indigenous Now, which is all current. Every week it's updated, current music. And same with all the other playlists. So we've put everybody in one spot. We've put genres together, playlists together. They use my artwork. And, we're building a space for us. And then when you're on there, you see how everybody connects. You can find new artists that you didn't have before. So that was the idea. And basically, that really changed my life when Ernie brought that into my life. And I was like, man, I wish I would have known this when I was younger, because maybe I was lost a little because my dad was so disconnected that, maybe that would have changed. So like I wanted to show this so that like my mandate was, even if one person gets it and changes, or one child is saved, or one person moves forward in a different way. And we did more than that. We changed a lot. We changed the game. And, I was really enthusiastic about it because I know it would have made a difference in my life. I know if Too Rude will tell you, you guys might not know who Too Rude is, but Too Rude's a producer from Toronto, but Too Rude I've known since I was 13 or 14, and he noticed the change, and he would always tell me, you're a better person, you're a nicer person now, because the culture made me kinder, made me gentler, more patient. Like, there's so many differences. So when I combine that with what I was doing before, it blew my mind. So that's what we're trying to bring forward, positive hip-hop, because the kids are all doing it. They love it, and they always have, just like everybody else. We're no different, than every other race or whatever you want to say. People from other walks of life in this country, everybody loves hip-hop. So come on. Why wouldn't we, right?
Did you get much to any of the reserves or communities?
Well, the pandemic kind of like I had a plan to go on tour. I had a plan to tour with some of the artists, like a res tour and a city tour. But when the pandemic shut me down, it was like I did some online stuff. But I basically went back to New York.
How would it work going on tour? What you'd be behind the scenes?
Well, the idea was I would have been DJ'd, and all
okay.
the artists, I would just DJ the set,
that'd
and
be
everybody. So everybody on the album has their own catalogs.
Yeah.
So they could come out, do a couple of theirs, do one of mine, and then at the end we do any collabs or whatever. Like, it would have been easy to put together, but the pandemic shut me right down. Then when I did the second album last year, we were still kind of getting out of it a little bit. So I wasn't even considering any of that. I just put it out, you know.
So who are your inspirations, music-wise and also artistically?
Artistically, like painting-wise, well, I seem to come up with my own style. I just was painting for fun, and I would just paint stuff that I saw. But then it was really the Lodge that brought back my painting, and I just started coming up with my own styles. The symbol series is something I came up with. I mean, my friend Q-Rock's always like, as soon as I see it, I know it's you, right? And then the other abstract style I'm doing with the hip-hop guys is just something I don't know if I invented it. I just started doing it, and people loved it, so I kept doing it. And I could paint anything. I have other styles, but they're not like, oh, that's me, right? So I don't know if I'm being inspired by anybody. I think the inspiration is coming from the ceremony, because sometimes I'll see stuff in there and paint them. Like, it's hard to explain if you don't understand what that is. But musically, I mean, I was talking to Charles and DJ Your Honor about this earlier, where, you know, I came up in, you know, listening to hip-hop in the beginning, and one of my biggest influence was EPMD, Eric Sermon, and them. And then eventually I got to join the Def Squad and work with Eric and do records with them and learn a lot from him. But, you know, I like the boom bap style. Like, I'm more like, you know, DJ Premier. I love Premier. There's a lot of guys, Marley Marl. They were talking about, I can't remember his name, the guy. I watched the DMC interview on Drink Champs, and he was talking about Larry, who produced all the Run DMC records that people don't even know about, you know, and that was, Run DMC was my shit. I don't know if I can curse, sorry. And, you know, there was a lot of influences, but being able to work with your influences, that was the big one, you know. So, like, shout out to Eric, because Eric held me down a lot. I probably wouldn't be here right now without Eric's sermon.
Oh, dude, I mean, that's like the dream, basically. Like, to get to do something like that.
The way that happened for me was, you know, I pretty much worked with everybody in Toronto hip hop up until a certain point, and I left, and I just went to New York, and I got to work with Redman. So I was working at Mirror Image, like just engineering. And I really forgot I was so into what was going on. I forgot about E. And then I came out of the studio one day, and he was sitting in the lounge, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. Redman comes with EPMD, right? So the rest is history. We kind of, you know, became good friends before I got to mix a couple songs for him. And then, you know, he really helped me, because I was ready to give up. New York is hard. Mm-hmm. New York is hard, y'all. And it's harder now. But back then, it was, you know, I was all or nothing. You know, I just had one of my friends, rest in peace to Frankie, was murdered. And that really changed my trajectory. It was like, I was at the biggest studio in Canada, and then I started working as a DJ in a strip club again part-time to get my money up. And I was like, what am I doing? I needed to sell everything and move to New York.
I mean, but you just keep going. I guess that's the idea, you know.
I gave up my life.
You go back to.
It was the hardest thing I ever did. I gave up my life, my girlfriend, my cars. I didn't get to see my children. I went through times where I was like, why am I doing this? This sucks. You know, I had an apartment. Now I'm in a bedroom. You know, like it's, you know, but within a year, I was in a better place. So, I mean, I feel like people were with me. So, you know, it was a big deal.
Awesome.
I don't know if that answers the question.
You guys want to take a little 3-minute break and listen to Feathers?
So Feathers is Q-Rock. So Q-Rock is a rapper and an artist. He's from Nipissing First Nations. He grew up. His mother moved to the Bronx when he was 5. So he was a mighty Zulu king. He came up in b-boying. He's a fabulous b-boy. He's a great painter, and he's a dope MC. And this song is kind of crazy, because the way it happened was at the end of the album. When I was making the album, I added a couple songs at the end. This was one of them, and it features Chippewa. The Chippewa, I'm going to get their name. I think it's on the screen. Chippewa. It's a drum group.
Travelers.
Chippewa Travelers, yeah. And they're super dope, and I did some stuff with them before. So I put traditional music in with the hip hop because the only person who was doing that was Tribe Called Red and Hallucination. But to me, that was more dance music. So check this song out. I'm really
It was
proud.
all dance music.
Let's play
I'm
it.
really
and,
proud of this song, and I still love it to this day. Feathers is,
Here it comes.
Strickland, Gordo, Fire Keepers, Toronto Bronx native, ready to rock. Put fire in gold shells, put ride in my coattail, full metal jacket in my hotel, seen everything drop, including coke sales, heard everyone talk on some old tales, some sharks, beach parks, some old whales, stories split in one grain into 4 pails. It's time we make them rise out them black hills, catch a vibe from the rap skills. I roll and build in the blunt mill, Toronto still in the gun spill, skill but your gun killed. This was a fun drill, shout out my natives up in Gun Hill, ready to rock, let us show you how the Bronx build. I make it dance with them letters, huh? I make it dance with them feathers, yeah. I make it dance with them letters, huh? I make it dance with them feathers. I make it dance with them letters, huh? I make it dance with them feathers, yeah. I make it dance with them letters, huh? I make it dance with them feathers. It's like a jungle, how the fuck am I not going under? Hit him hard with these words like I'm throwing thunder. My circle strong, feels like I'm growing younger. MCs these days, dumb and dumber, who run from you when you ain't run numbers. I was raised with outlaws, real live gunners. Natives, protectors of the land. Stop killing each other, start protecting the clans. Fucked up how you can't see us killing us or them killing me. They get time off, I get life in prison with the killing spree. What's killing me is ignorance and violence. Cops blast the shots, then call the sirens. EMS, get the body when it ain't so fresh. Body chocked on your front doorstep. Somebody get the broom, get this jealousy swept. I make it dance with them letters, huh? I make it dance with them feathers, yeah. I make it dance with them letters, huh? I make it dance with them feathers. I make it dance with them letters, huh? I make it dance with them feathers, yeah. I make it dance with them letters, huh? I make it dance with them feathers. I make it dance with them letters, huh? I make it dance with them feathers, yeah. I make it dance with them letters, huh? I make it dance with them feathers. I make it dance with them letters, huh? I make it dance with them feathers, yeah. I make it dance with them letters, huh? Yeah. I make it dance with them feathers. Make it dance.
All right, and we're back here with David Strickland and the friends talking about, well, what he's been up to, new music and inspirations and stuff like that. Take me somewhere else.
I just wanted to ask, do you do anything with the youth?
I have done stuff like where I go and do speaking engagements where I speak and tell my story. I used to do drum making classes. COVID kind of sidetracked me from stuff like that. But I was going to certain places and like just telling my story to the kids because a lot of kids don't understand, especially in Canada when I have this body of work in hip hop and they didn't know there was somebody like me behind it. So that might change their perspective, right? My whole thing is I'm like, I am not special. I'm not better than you or anybody. So if I can do something that I want to do, you should be able to do whatever you want to do. And it doesn't have to be music or painting. It could be whatever you want to do. Like I'm getting into new stuff all the time, but it's really just confidence and believing in yourself. And that's really the message is like, don't let nobody tell you can't. Now, obviously some things are going to be bad ideas. I'm not saying to just do anything stupid, but if it's something positive and you believe you can do, whether it's a clothing, it doesn't matter. You want to be a car rapper or painter, whatever it is. That's really the story here is like, I could have gave up and I had given up a few times and I could have ran away and I kept pushing, and I'm not drive. We didn't come here in a Lamborghini, so we're not balling out of control. But it's not what it's about, right? It's about your spirit and moving forward and giving something to the world. We were saying earlier, I'm like, when I die, it's going to be on the news, and that really was profound to think that. Okay, you know what? I must have made an impact for that to be something that, even if I don't do anything else, right? It might not be in here, but definitely in Canada.
No, you definitely know, but
But at the same time, when we got here, I was recognized in 20 minutes. So I think I'm nobody. I think anybody knows who I am. I try to keep it humble.
Yeah.
But sometimes my elders tell me you're too humble. So I was trying to find a balance between the two, right?
Right.
And really showing the youth that, because a lot of times in our communities, we'll try to pull people down because we think they're not being humble. But we also need to lift each other up and tell each other how great we are, and we need that. And it's not an ego thing. It's you need to water the plants, right? You need to feed the creativity. So a lot of times you have people from, could be your mom and dad or uncle, because I know myself, nobody believed in me. Nobody said I could do it. Everybody thought I was out partying all night. And I was in the studio all night. I'd come home and sleep all day. So that really messes with your head. Nobody believes in me. I'm working hard, and I have no support. But I got to keep going so I could prove them wrong, right? So, I mean, these things affect you, and they're important. And, everybody has a different story. So everybody has different, issues to deal with as they go. And that some people don't make it. I've lost so many people over the years, so that comes with me too. I carry a lot with me as far as not just it's I always tell people about trauma and things. We were talking about PTSD and going through so many things that you gotta let things go, and you can't keep carrying them, right? When I was painting the painting, remember I said the lady asked, I said, oh, it's creator. I said, but I'm walking in ceremony. I kept smudging it. I'm like, this is medicine. What I'm doing is medicine, and it's ceremony for me. And I came up with that mural in 20 minutes and designed it. I didn't have a clue what I was going to do.
We didn't have a clue. We just
didn't have a clue. We're just coming to do a mural. What are we going to do? I don't know.
We were supposed to do something totally different.
I was like, can I do a whale in the symbol series? He's like, no, don't do a whale. I'm like, but the ocean's there. I'm like, no, wait, you're right. That's not.
So we were supposed to do something with his brother Ernie, and Ernie is like
He's older. He had an emergency,
surgery.
So he had something. He couldn't come. So
and basically we were like, what do we do? So we were sitting there, and I was just like, 50th year of hip hop. Let's do something that's gonna reward Miami and do it well.
Yeah.
He goes, okay, give me a minute. He goes upstairs, and he comes back. He goes, I got it. I was like, 20 minutes. What do you mean you got it? He shows it to me. I was speechless. I was just like, wow.
Yeah. And then we had to do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes the painting style of that style, if I do one, I could bang it out pretty fast.
Right.
But this is huge, and it's 6, and I wasn't worried about it. I just caught a wave, and got on a vibe, and I had no issues. I didn't panic. Did I panic?
Never.
I didn't panic. I didn't freak out. I wasn't stressed, and that was the best part about it. It just flowed.
And I was behind him the whole time, so I just wanted to just let him know that, yo, whatever you do, I'm right behind you. Let's go. And then smooth.
And then now going back to what we were saying about creator and everything that happens, because if you hang out with me, weird shit happens all the time, right? You have to ask Charles. So we're painting the mural probably a couple days in, right? Yeah. And now the mural and the whole show that I put on was filmed by Love and Hip Hop Miami. Mm-hmm. So now the mural's on Love and Hip Hop Miami. So, I mean, that's take us to a whole other level. And then you bring it back to our children. So now, we didn't plan that. So now you're like, who's that? Yo, he's on, right. It's more about, because I've been saying this for a while, we've never had indigenous artists, hip-hop artists get to #1 on Billboard in America. I haven't even done it. I mean, I have indirectly, but not as a producer, or like I'm not a rapper, so.
Yeah.
Right? So.
But you did it as an engineer.
Yes, right. But we still, so there's that thing that hasn't happened yet. So people don't even know. Like sometimes we get dissed for doing this, but those people don't understand. Like what Sten Jody was saying, y'all know Sten Jody was on. Yeah, so Sten was down here for the weekend, and he got some backlash over some stuff. But people, we get called names. Sometimes people don't like that we rap.
Really?
Yeah, because we're not. What are we not supposed? See, hip hop is inclusive.
It's got to be like a jealousy.
No. It's not even that. It's like, what are you doing? This is not your culture.
Yeah.
Miniatures is culture. It's everybody's culture.
It is our culture.
You know what I mean? It's crazy.
That's the joke about it. Right?
That is the joke.
So we had a lot of deep conversations because, we were making the joke that when, natives took over South Beach. Because we had people coming up, like, there was like 10 of us. And they're like, guys, like, me and Sten, the night before they left, we had this deep conversation with these two guys from New York. Okay? And were seeing us the night before and was like, are you guys indigenous? Like, he was like, what the fuck? I mean, we had all our shit on that, we're showing off. That's just our style, right? Even Savell. Shout out to Sten Jody and Savell the Native and Richie, for coming down and showing up. And they, we like to show off who we are sometimes. I don't care. Like,
I mean, I like
people try to figure me out. I think I get Puerto Rican. I get all kinds of.
As corny as it sounds.
Some of us are like,
it's
you're not white. We
especially
know that.
here in Miami,
Right.
it's this. It's so corny to say, but it's really the spice of life to me. People from all the things, like all different kind of
But you
cultures,
see-
and just the people who would get mad about that is kind of pathetic.
And Sten was explaining where he's from, and they're from here, and they got pushed all the way up to Oklahoma. Like a lot of us got pushed around, right? So.
Especially, in the U.S. That
Like, I shouldn't even be here. Like, my parents are from the north. My name is Awadnok Ipu. That means North Eagle, Eagle of the North. I shouldn't even be here. My dad came to Toronto from the north. So did my mom. The fact that they met, you know what I mean? There's like, it gets, they tried to exterminate us. Yeah. They said Newfoundland joined Canada in 1949. I don't know if you guys know this.
I did.
So for people to try to diss us, because we do get, 1949, my dad was born in early 40s. So when they joined, they didn't take the Indian Act. And they said, we're all dead. We don't exist. The Beothics, it was Beothic and the Mi'kmaq lived on outsides of the island. And we would go home in the summer. In the summer, we'd be in Newfoundland, some of us, and sometimes we'd go back to the mainland. The Beothic people were from the middle. Some of my ancestors are Beothic, but people don't believe that because the colonizers say they're all dead. The last one died in the 1800s, Shawanda. I'm saying her name wrong. Sorry, guys. Anyway, the point is that the Beothic people didn't, when the Vikings came and all that, they didn't like the white people. Some tribes were friendly with them, but they didn't like them. And our oral story is that they fled and intermarried with the Mi'kmaq who were there. And one of my ancestors, the story is that he was mixed because another relative of mine who died, he got put on a res in Truro, Nova Scotia, and the story about him is they have him in the news, and he was carrying those traditions from that because you can't even find language from them, right? So I get offended when people try to tell me who I am now. At first I was like, ooh, I should play nice in the sandbox. Now I'm like, don't tell me who I am. I did my homework. I have relatives who know everything about us, right? Yes, I have white ancestors. So what?
Yes.
That doesn't make me less indigenous.
Yeah.
It's my genealogy is thick.
Yeah.
I know everything. It's crazy. So the thing about it is when that happened, they erased us. So whoever was left, and there's a pocket in when you look at us all, we're not the same. You can tell. There's a handful of us, and we're all related. We know it, right? So they tried to erase us for 70 years, right? So they assimilated everybody. It was a thing. You had to hide. It was shame. They would call us the N-word, right? Because there was no black people out there. So you would say, no, I'm not Native or white. And there's a story in a book about Aboriginals in Canada. And when you get to the chapter in Newfoundland, they have stories about two of my cousins. They only use their initials, but they talk about one of my cousins was out of work, and he ran into my other cousin. So you find a job yet? And he's like, no, I'm still looking. He goes, why don't you go down to the band office? They'll help you. And he's like, what are you talking about? Because we had little bands from time. The bands were always there, even though they were hiding. My band now is an amalgamation of all those bands because the federal government
it eventually becomes
right.
Yeah,
so they put us all together, and now we might actually be breaking apart and going backwards. That's a whole other conversation. But one of my cousins was like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?" He's like, "Because people were hiding it, families and families. So what do you don't have a car? You're not a." Don't you have your card or like your band card? And it was like this whole weird thing where he's like, well, shit, I was just looking for work. And then I found out my identity, right? And that was profound to me because it was in that book and it's not a new book. And I was like, wow, and not everybody has the information I have. So I took everything I had and it took me down this path. And that album is a result from if I didn't do what I was doing, I could have just went, yeah, whatever. But it was meaningful to me. It was like Eric told me, he goes, man, you went home and you left Canada to find yourself, and you didn't happen till you came back. Because the way it happened was I came home one day. I'd been in the States for a while. It was back and forth kind of thing. And my dad was like, I need this. We're finally get our status cards. I was like, what? Because it was like growing up, it was like, wait, my other Indigenous friends have status cards. How come I don't have one? And you couldn't get any information, right? But that would have changed my life. Maybe I would have been a nicer person. But anyway, the point is that this record and the art came out of this journey. And I've been able to utilize this and give my story to people to maybe inspire children or maybe inspire other people. I know it's inspired my children. I've made a lot of people proud of myself or just proud of themselves, right? And that was really what it was about. It wasn't about me. And that's the whole thing. The record's not about me. The record is about putting Indigenous artists with, mainstream artists, and that's what we did.
That's
leveling up.
What I'll say? What I'll say, going back to what I said earlier of how you have a very solid idea of the why and where it comes from. Yeah. But then, and I guess this is obvious, because that's the way to make good art, I suppose, is that in the music, it's there, but it's not on the nose. You know what I mean? Right. It's not like, hey, this is who we are. Exactly. It's the influence is there without being like, hey, I am,
right.
Which it hits better that way as opposed to you know what I mean?
We got flavor.
Yeah, exactly.
We do got flavor. And if you're not letting us participate, you're missing out.
Yeah. Anyway,
we got to wrap it up.
Yeah, we do have to wrap. The next guys are coming up. I'm going to play us out to Level Up.
Level Up. Shout out to Level Up, Six Nations.
I want to thank David Strickland for coming in. I want to thank all you guys for coming in. David, do you have a name for the next album yet? Or not?
Yeah, it's called Foundation.
Okay, Foundation.
Foundation, the idea being that I'm part of the foundation of hip-hop in Canada, and this is my foundation.
Globally.
Yeah, globally. So Foundation represents where I come from and what I'm doing. And you need a good foundation to build on. So that's why I thought I'd start with the foundation.
Fantastic. I'm going to obviously link all this stuff on the YouTube video when we post it, which will be soon. Thanks again, all you guys, for coming. It was
Thanks for having us.
Much better conversation. We came in hot and it all kind of worked out. So, thanks, guys. This has been good.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, likewise. Okay.
Thanks.
Level Up, David Strickland, featuring Jez's Aspects and Prognosis is coming up right now.
How much time do we have? Need to level up. Level up. There's levels to this shit. The higher elevation, like when puffing on that piff. Need to level up. There's levels to this shit. You don't miss, never quit. It gon' hit you with that grit, yeah.
It's a new day, and I'm feeling hella good. Tuning Tuesday. Got no problems on my mind. I'm making moves today. Even though I got more L's than Cool J, I'm still a new wave. So, they waiting for the drop still. Stupid dope, but baby, we don't pop pills. Super high, with Oompa Loompa scooting by. Tell the Uber, play some Future while we move the ride. Hey, destination, 6 nations. Got the homie Vic waiting with some inspiration. Now that's an Ichi homecoming. Big smoke, big love, the only way to run it. We're the fam, we're the grub, let me call the cousins. Shout out to my baby, with our baby in the oven. Another legend coming. Time to level up, the youth are here to tell us something.
Level up, levels to this shit. That higher elevation like when puffin' on that epiphany. The level up, levels to this shit. It don't miss, never quit. It gon' hit you with that green, yeah. Level up, levels to this shit. That higher elevation like when puffin' on that epiphany. The level up, levels to this shit. It don't miss, never quit. It gon' hit you with that green, yeah. Step by step, rep by rep until death. I'ma keep on burning this shit that there ain't nothing left. With my last breath, I'ma say it with my chest. With my lungs filled with smoke, yeah, that's the day I rest. But for now, I keep on rolling, going, smoking on that boat. That higher level floating, glowing, living for the moment. I've been uploading and downloading and decoding all this data from the system, cause it's broken. Now I'm thinking I know what to do. Cancel these bitches, let pep in the pew. Try them, we testing, you know that we true. Counting my blessings because I pulled through. In this time when I had no clue, when I did what I had to do to recoup. When I learned to move to the ghetto, when I rode with the metal, when I learned how to run the shoes. So get back off the chit chat. I'm just full that fuck a fat, cut the chit chat. I did that, and that's just where I'm at. I'm on that different level. Higher level in the stars, on that higher level. And that higher level's yours. Level up, levels to this shit. That higher elevation like when puffin' on that epiphany. The level up, levels to this shit. It don't miss, never quit. It gon' hit you with that green, yeah. Level up, levels to this shit. That higher elevation like when puffin' on that epiphany. The level up, levels to this shit. It don't miss, never quit. It gon' hit you with that green, yeah.
I've been a problem, still a problem. But problems what you need to grow. Overcoming obstacles is something that you need to know. We be sitting high up in the clouds while we're down below. Luminescence, my presence illuminates a glow. Shining, something like diamonds. Boy, be looking clean from the dirtiest environment. No street lights, just lights from the sirens. No need to remind us, 6 Nays finest. Vic hit me up, I'ma rise to the challenge. Phoenix from the ashes, demons from the passes. They just haunt us like screaming from the pastors. Let's talk reparations, a slap in our faces. Red pill, blue pill, this ain't the matrix. It's an epidemic that we're constantly facing. Slowly beating trauma through each generation.
Level up, levels to this shit. That higher elevation like when puffin' on that epiphany. The level up, levels to this shit. It don't miss, never quit. It gon' hit you with that green, yeah. Level up, levels to this shit. That higher elevation like when puffin' on that epiphany. The level up, levels to this shit. It don't miss, never quit. It gon' hit you with that green.
All right, Jolt Radio, you just heard that fantastic interview with David Strickland. Check out the YouTube for the rewind on that, and we'll have all the links to where to find him and where to find his new record and stuff like that. We will be right back with Mahogany.